On the latest episode of the WNBA Crash Out, we have to talk about another one because this situation just keeps getting worse. I mean, this is wild. We actually have to revisit the Crash Out conversation again, and this time it comes with a reality check from a real legend of the game. Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo finally stepped in and said what needed to be said. And here's the bottom line. Fans are turning away. Not slowly, not quietly, they are being pushed away in real time. People are watching how the league operates and how certain players talk, and they are not feeling it. The WNBA has done a lot for these players. Housing assistance, family support, childcare, transportation, benefits that most leagues never even discuss publicly. And yet, the messaging coming from some of these players makes it sound like none of that matters. Rebecca Lobo came through and set the record straight. She essentially said, "You are turning people off. You are losing public support." And when someone like Rebecca Lobo speaks, this is not hate, this is not trolling, and this is not coming from so-called Caitlyn Clark fans. This is coming from someone who helped build the league and has universal respect. The issue is accountability. These players are getting in front of microphones with no media awareness, saying reckless things, moving emotionally, and acting like public perception doesn't matter. It does. A lot. Fans are not obligated to side with you just because you play in the league. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Many of these players believe they are the reason the money conversation even exists. They're not. Caitlyn Clark is the catalyst. What she brought to this league is why these conversations are even happening right now. So when Rebecca Lobo tells you to knock it off, that's not an attack, that's guidance. The WNBA needs to take a deep breath, look in the mirror, and realize that the current approach is doing more harm than good. If this keeps up, the damage will be self-inflicted. Let's get into it.
She's, sanity. To be like, we played, we were here, people
We've
loved
experienced it all,
Yeah.
which is a great segue to the CBA negotiation.
Dun, 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 dun.
We're just going to talk about it a little bit, obviously still ongoing. We talked about that earlier in our pod today. You actually were quoted somewhere saying this is the first time you have zero fear around the league folding, right? Which I totally know what you mean. It's like in other negotiations, there was always not like it was actually going to fold, but it was like, hey, we got to figure this out. How are we going to do this kind of a vibe? All right. So from your perspective, what should be like the high priorities for this agreement?
It's been interesting to kind of see how it has all evolved. And one of the things that strikes me is like the deal that, as you read it, that the owners have on the table for the players. And, I'm not privy to all of the information, but like, it looks like a pretty amazing deal. And that, like, if the players took the deal that's on the table right now, they should feel great about it because it's huge salaries. It is a degree of revenue sharing. It's going to allow the owners to continue to invest in the product. I mean, having a practice facility, having all the things that Sue and I, you played all, and I played all those years without. Like my New York Liberty team practiced at the Brearley Middle School on the Upper East Side on a court that was middle school size. Like that's just what we did. I'm hopeful. It seems like the sides are farther apart than they should be, though, for this point in time. And I'm hopeful that they'll come together. I don't know that from what I understand and the people that I've talked to, that the owners have that much more that they can give in terms of revenue share or in terms of max salary. So calm and cool and heads have always prevailed in these negotiations, and I'm hopeful that they do. One thing, I want for the players to get absolutely as much as they can get. I'm thrilled for them and the climate that we are with women's basketball right now. It's booming, and the players are the reason for that, or a big part of the reason for that. Some of the rhetoric I've heard from their side has been a little bit troublesome. Like when a deal is presented that's over $1 million max salary and revenue share, it's called a slap in the face. Like it's that just use different words. And I'm worried that the players might be getting to a point where they might be losing some of the support from the public. And I think that's been a big part of this all along. Like when we were at All-Star and the players put their, pay us what you owe us shirts on, it felt to me in that arena like the players had 100% support of the from WNBA fans. I'm doing a game early in the playoffs. This is before Nafisa has said anything about the commissioner, and the video comes up in Vegas with Kathy talking, and there was like a minute straight of boos. This is before Nafisa's comments. Again, it felt like, wow, the players have 100% support of the fan base in the WNBA. And as these negotiations have gone on, it feels like some of that is waning. And I think some of it has just been some of the language and the verbiage and that sort of thing that we've heard from the Players Association. I think the players just need to be a little bit more careful with how they're articulating things, because if you're working whatever job, a max salary of 1.2 million, average salary of 500,000. If you don't think it's fair, that's fine, but don't call it a slap in the face. I think that there's there are things that need to be done a little bit better when it comes to the language during these negotiations.
Yeah.
I agree 1,000%. And honestly, I don't even know how we got here. Look at where we are right now. We are 2 extensions past the deadline, 2 extensions in, and they are still nowhere close. We just heard that directly. That's not speculation anymore. Sophie Cunningham just came out and confirmed it. I dropped a video on it yesterday. Go check that out as well. She straight up said, it's looking like a lockout. That's where we're headed. They are still far apart, and right now, it does not look like there will even be a season. Let that sink in. And this goes back to what I've been saying from the start. The rhetoric, the language, the way these players are talking in public. Y'all desperately need media training. It honestly feels like Caitlyn Clark is the only one in the entire league who understands how to handle a microphone. The rest of this is just reckless. People wanted to support the players. That's the crazy part. Fans were ready to ride with you. And then you got on camera, got in front of microphones, and talked the support right out of existence. That is nasty work. Straight up. Rebecca Lobo is absolutely right. Y'all do not know what you're doing when you get in front of these cameras. You don't understand how ridiculous some of this sounds to the average fan. And I also think a lot of fans had no idea about many of the perks the WNBA already provides. Housing assistance, family-related benefits, support systems that don't get talked about enough. Now that this information is coming out, it's changing the conversation. It's turning people off. And whether players like it or not, it has cost them public support. You can feel the shift. Right now, more people are actually siding with the owners than the players, and that should tell you everything. Then you've got Natasha Cloud saying wild things. You've got Nafisa Collier talking about teaching people how to run a business, while Unrivaled can't pull viewership. I mean, come on. TNT might be looking at that deal sideways at this point. So yeah, I agree with Rebecca Lobo completely. This league needs to regroup, get media training, get disciplined, because the way this is being handled publicly is doing more damage than the negotiations themselves. Get down in the comments and let me know what you think. Now, we have to revisit this. Yeah, we do. Because this right here was nasty work. Flat out. Elle Duncan, this is exactly what I was talking about when I said the hostility toward Caitlyn Clark and Caitlyn Clark fans was going to backfire. This is it. This is the moment. The jealousy was obvious then, and now it's even clearer. What started as subtle shots has turned into full-blown contempt for the very people who helped grow the league. And that energy has carried over to where we are today, with Rebecca Lobo now stepping in and saying the quiet part out loud. You are pushing fans away. Look at the track record. Calling fans racists, launching fake or exaggerated investigations, publicly shaming people instead of engaging them, telling fans they're not wanted. Over and over again. And then acting shocked when support starts disappearing. This isn't accidental. This is self-inflicted. Fans don't owe blind loyalty. Respect goes both ways. And when you spend years alienating your audience, eventually they listen. That's where we are now. Let's get into it.
And that's the worst part of all this, is the new fans are sucking the f***ing life out of the WNBA right now. It's just the truth. You are right. You are right, new fans. There has never been more viewership because of Caitlyn Clark. There's never been more attention. They're doing 40 minutes on First Take about Caitlyn Clark. They never did that before, as Monica McNutt called out. You're right. But you know what there was in the WNBA last year and the years prior? There was other storylines. There was joy. There was talk of competition. There was talk of what was actually happening on the...
What? The new fans are sucking the life out of the league? No, that is flat out nonsense. The new fans breathed life into the WNBA because before that, let's be honest, it was on life support. What are we even talking about here, Elle Duncan? This energy right here, this dismissive, bitter tone, is exactly what people mean when they say nasty work. And this same energy has carried all the way into where we are now. Let's keep it real. When Caitlyn Clark wasn't playing, nobody was doing 40-minute segments on the WNBA. Colin Cowherd wasn't breaking it down every day. First Take wasn't dedicating entire blocks to it. Nick Wright wasn't spending half the show on Unrivaled. That wasn't happening. So let's stop rewriting history. Now all of a sudden, everyone is a star, right? Paige is a star. This one's a star. That one's a star. Okay, then where's the coverage? Why isn't First Take talking about them? Why isn't ESPN leading shows with them? Why isn't anybody building segments around these so-called stars? It's not personal, it's business. People aren't watching. Networks talk about what drives interest, period. If the audience isn't there, the conversation isn't there. That's how this works. And pretending otherwise just makes you sound disconnected from reality. What were the storylines? Who was talking about them? Nobody. That's the truth. And this is why people are calling this delusional. Somewhere along the way, somebody's players and media voices convinced themselves that they are the draw. They are not. Caitlyn Clark is the catalyst. She is the reason new fans showed up. She is the reason money conversations even exist right now. And instead of embracing that, people attacked the fans, insulted them, and pushed them away. That exact energy from Elle Duncan has been all over the CBA mess. These players think they're the Caitlyn. They're not. And until that reality is accepted, this disconnect is only going to get worse. Tell me what you think. Don't forget, like and subscribe.